I often forget everything. Hello everybody. Welcome to The Witcher Bloodletting. Session, what is it? Session 2? There. Oh, it's actually session 3. I'm a bad boy.
You're just
I didn't change it to session 3.
really professional streamers.
Yeah. Well, you got to keep the meme alive, right? Is that the is that what
I'm
you
not
guys
sure
care
that
about?
requires you to try. Is Streamlabs working today?
Got to keep the meme alive. Children, memes. No, sorry. So, what's up, everybody?
You know they're called memes, don't you?
Yes, of course, for memetics. So you guys are ready, excited, whatever, for Thanksgiving tomorrow? You guys all celebrate?
What's a Thanksgiving?
Well, it's when you give thanks. It's when you show appreciation for horrible things that you've done to a culture.
For the natives giving you their land for free.
No, listen,
No resistance.
Listen, as a child, I was fed, totally not propaganda, of us all sitting around a very long table and everybody bringing equal parts of food to the table, including lots of corn, and us breaking bread together. That was what happened, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, sure, definitely.
I was there.
And then you go out and hunt some Indians. I mean, what?
We don't use. Listen,
They're called Native
you
Americans.
call them
now?
Indianans, and those are the people from Indiana. It's kind of like Floridians and Massholes. Yeah. Yep.
What are you guys called?
I'm a masshole.
Oh, I.
Yeah, we knew that already.
Well, yeah. I mean, Massachusetts massholes, Maine's
Yeah.
maniacs. So, anyways, that's super exciting stuff. So let's jump into the game, since apparently nobody's excited for Thanksgiving except for me.
I'm excited for the food that I'm not going to get because it's not celebrated in my country or in this side of the world or anywhere but your country.
Yeah, but you should.
And
So-
Canada.
I've had
We
a
don't get to
Thanksgiving meal
celebrate it,
once.
so we ruin your fun
Well,
instead.
Canada
really
has it
good.
on a different day, though, don't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, they have a different Thanksgiving.
They've already had theirs, I think.
Oh, it's so good. The pumpkin pie was so good.
Yeah, my wife is actually, in theory, making a pumpkin pie today. I say in theory because she's never done it before. So
That was one. Wow.
Wow.
That was one of the saddest things about leaving where I last worked is knowing that I wouldn't get to go to another Thanksgiving meal with that colleague.
I mean, you still can, can't you?
No,
Like,
no.
like,
No, it was a work thing.
oh, is that like a fling? Like once you no longer work together, you weren't that.
No,
close in
it was like
proximity?
it was a work thing, you know.
Sure.
It's like you can't just. Well, there's like so right. Your work Christmas do, yeah. There's maybe a year where you can still return to your previous places of work. As I used to work here, but like 2 years out, that's a bit far-fetched.
Oh, okay. I get that. That's like you just graduated from high school and you swing by and see your friends, but then you're like a sophomore in college and you're like, yeah, let's get a little sketchy, hanging around the high school at like 2021. So I hear you. Okay, that's legit. My apologies. You're completely correct, Neil. You guys have already been gifted 6 Witcher senses, so you guys can tip
boy.
your hats for that one. And let's jump into the session. So last session ended off with you guys having successfully completed and beating the Foglet. You actually did the fight. The fight could have been a little bit more deadly, but Messi actually took care of that. Not Messi, sorry. Derp actually took care of that. Rick took care of that pretty well. In dropping a fireball inside there, dispelling his fog of death, etc., etc. And then after you guys finished completing the task, you guys did the Witcher, and you realized it was going to respawn. You did the Witcher task of setting up an amazing ambush. So when you encountered it the second time, I think it got 1 round, wherein it was like stuns that round or something like that. So
You gave us a surprise round.
yeah, so I more or less didn't get to hurt you as much as I would like. So you went back to the city.
Sorry. As much as you would have liked.
You don't
You guys went
remember
back
him
to the
being
city?
like- him being like, oh yeah, it was a really hard encounter, and we were all like, was it?
Yeah, the
And
first
he was
encounter.
like, ah!
The first encounter was hard, not the ambush. That was
Yeah.
disgustingly easy. And so you guys make your way back to the place. You have your conversation with the Burgermeister. He tells you, of course, like you gotta wait out the week, and then you head to a local tavern, get yourselves a little pissed, and pass out. So that leads us to the idea of what you guys are going to do next. Obviously, you have something important on hand. I hinted at the end of last session, something important you have to do to make sure that the child is taken care of, that he is brought to where he needs to, that whole plan is put underway. But if you wait around for a week, you get $6,000. And if you wait around for an additional week after that, you get another $1,000. So you have to make the hard decision of, are we sitting around and waiting for money, or are we going to go after the boy?
Sit around waiting for the money.
Yeah, fuck this guy, I guess.
All right.
I kind of think it is just like
My boy Luis.
wait the first week, and then we. I still don't. I'm still like, at least as far as Luis goes, I don't know if he like is dedicated to following us if we do leave, because he kind of just like worked with him the one time, so he could just be like,
He's like, hey, come here, boy.
I mean, I'm
Help us
fairly
earn
certain,
$6,000 for ourselves.
I'm
So-
fairly certain that Tal 100% saved his life by bringing down both his spear and a building on the horrible monster that was about to kill him. So therefore, he owes me a Wookiee life debt.
I mean, I was crying.
Nobody cares about Tal.
If we're going that route, how about the fog that would have TPK'd everyone?
So, well, we didn't know it was gonna TPK everyone.
You
That's
would have died
knowledge.
first, though. We worked this one out. You'd have died first. We'd have legged it.
Oh, yeah, I know, but, you know.
And I'd have been gone like a horse, because Tal runs as fast as a horse.
So I think it's funny that more or less what Dunce is saying is we need to have an in-story reason as to why he would travel with us. You know, we need to spend more time getting to know him. Maybe do another task, earn a little bit more money. Maybe that's a good idea. So
Yeah,
that we
maybe
can
that's
wait
like
a week and
another
earn
story.
6,000 credits. So,
Credits.
Also, well, I really like
You know
that
what I mean.
boy. This is $6,000 we're talking about, and, well, we're kind of broke.
yep.
yeah.
I mean,
I
we
don't
did
think the money
promise
will
him a
help.
reward. And he
I don't know
definitely
anything.
helped, so.
I don't know anything about
Got
this.
some coppers.
It's true.
I don't
we
know
don't.
what boy you guys are talking about.
Which is why I was making Dunce's
worry
point of we need to make him a member of our team.
Do we?
I'm an
Mind you,
outsider.
downloading the
We still
Amazon
have a week
shopping
to
app.
toss him down a well and keep 2K ourselves.
So let's jump into the actual session. So the next morning, you guys wake up. Some of you are a bit groggy. Some of you are a bit more sharp than the others, as you spent your night drinking. I imagine last night, as you guys are all kind of coming to, you've come to the conclusion we should probably sit around and wait for those credits before we do anything else. Maybe in the morning, a little bit more guilt eats away at you, and you're like, we do have this important thing to
Those
do.
credits.
But it is. I keep saying credits because it's Star Wars tonight, and I'm getting
Yeah,
pretty
stop.
amped about. I'm getting pretty amped about Fate in the Stars. So so for those 6,000 coin, so you may feel a little bit guilty about it, but honestly, when you're thinking about your share of that, that's a considerable amount. I mean, in theory, it's 2,000 each, right? Right?
In theory.
In theory. So you do have that week to spend, or that 6 days or so to spend. So to kill that time, I know that beforehand you had heard about other things that other tasks to where is it that you guys could potentially work on. There was the fact that people have been disappearing throughout the nights. Oh, that was it. That was the other one you had heard. The fact that people have been disappearing throughout the nights. Did you guys roll me carousing checks last session?
The fuck is that?
So if everybody could actually roll me charisma checks from the night beforehand.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we didn't do that.
Yeah, I just scrolled up. You didn't. Wow.
Well, okay. do I need to? All right. Oh.
Do
Hell.
it.
Actually, you get to. Did you roll yet, Messi, or no?
No, I'm doing it now.
You roll with actually advantage.
Why? Because I'm elf? Oh, yeah, because I know everyone. Duh.
Okay.
Yeah, I fucking suck at this.
That's fine. So you better, better than
Up it
10.
is.
Not like those other two guys.
So it's Brandon Bastion. You know, honestly, it's at one point in time where he leaves Tal and Luis sitting by the bar, and Tal probably explaining to Luis the ways that he had saved Luis, and he's like the two of them walk away. He's like, you know, So between you and me, I didn't see any tears.
I wasn't crying. I wasn't crying.
So while you guys are off to one of the bars and grabbing a drink, you'll actually overhear a little bit of a conversation where one of them is just like, "Yeah, but there's no way that we can ever complete it if things are going on the way they are." It's like, well, I heard that there might be a witcher in town that's taking contracts, and if there is, maybe they can help us.
Witcher in town, you say? Where?
I don't know, Bastian. I'd love to meet him.
So they look to you and they're like, "Oh, we don't know. We're trying to find this guy. We haven't been able to locate him yet."
Look in my
Is
eyes.
everyone blind?
Right
Do they
by.
not like look people in the eyes when they talk to
They're
them?
in a
probably
tavern.
pissed.
They're all.
I don't
yeah.
know where they are. I've never seen him.
No, I'm gonna sit down next to them. I'm gonna be like, "Well, what exactly do you need this Witcher for?"
And you sitting down in front of them makes things very, or next to them, whatever it is, makes things very apparent. Sitting across the way or whatever. And they look at you and they're like, "Oh, you're the Witcher." And one of them stretches out his hand and says, "Damien."
Bastion, This
They
is
look over
my-
to Rick.
colleague.
Thanks, Bran.
Well met. Well, you see, we're here. We happen to be part of a group of worshippers to Verna, and we have an old ritual it's very, very quickly coming upon us, and we need to be able to do the ritual as part of our rites to, our respects. It's our respects to venerate those that have died. For us to do this ritual, we'd have to be able to be safely in the graveyard. But unfortunately, the graveyard itself has been completely overrun. And we have not been able to get in there to... Well, we've already lost one person's life.
Do you know what creature could have caused this? What it looked like?
Over in the graveyards, they were, what are they called? The rot fiends, or the ones that eat the dead. But that's not who... he was being wary of them. His life wasn't taken by that. For him, he was pulled down and sucked dry by a bloodsucker.
Don't exist.
Myth.
Busted.
I see. Well, we may be able to help you. We'll have to discuss it with the rest of our party, as we do have business elsewhere. But assuming they're all on board with it, we'll definitely be able to help you out with this.
It'd be much appreciated if you could. Like I said, the time of our ritual is very quickly coming upon us. I'll drop a picture of it in Twitch chat for you guys. Which I don't know if are you guys, is chat working for you guys? Because it seems to be very slow to update for me. Oh my god, it's not updating for me.
Oh,
This is crazy. So I'm sorry. Go ahead.
it's fine for me.
Yeah, chat's doing normal stuff for me.
Yeah, I basically just said, yeah, if my boys are cool with it.
Okay. He's like, well, we can of course try to offer you a reward. We're only part of a congregation of, worshippers, so it's not like we have a ton that we can offer. We're thinking perhaps 500.
I think that would be fairly reasonable.
Well, if you can clear out the area, that would... It just needs to be cleared out well enough, battled back well enough that we can do our ritual for the next couple days. And then we'd be fine. But our ritual does start in 2 nights. So if you can handle things before then, that would be absolutely wonderful. We would greatly appreciate it. I try to close and reopen my chat.
And I imagine, hopefully, again, that the party will have no issue with this.
Kind of like nods and as you guys walk off, you can see he's having a much more excited conversation with the other person that's with him. Like, oh, we found him, so on and so forth. You guys grab your, you got your drinks or whatever, and you rejoin the rest of the party. So the next morning, everybody's realizes that you have all these different things that you could do or have done, and blah 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 blah. And that leads you with the idea of the ceremonial cleansing or the silent nights. What it was that you wanted to focus on while you were here, or your tertiary option is, of course, do absolutely nothing whatsoever.
Sleep.
Yeah, just be like, let the week pass, and just collect our money at the end of it.
I forget how much was the payment offered for the missing people.
He
Hasn't
said,
been stated. We haven't talked to the person that actually pays that.
"Yep." He said it's gonna come out of the other people's pay. So you have to speak to, who's called like the mayor of this area.
I have in my notes that there was like 1,000 offered for that.
Okay, yeah, I did say that. Okay, cool. That's what I have written right here in my notes.
All right, so I imagine either Bran or I would tell the rest of the party about that we had.
Well, it's not going to be anyone else, dunce.
I'll tell him.
Leonard shows up.
I've been listening.
No,
the
the
whole
inn
time.
explodes. Fireballs rain everywhere. Oh, what a shame.
Too bad it burns the deed. So you go to meet with this person that's here. So the mayor that you just with your 21 carousing, find out the information that you needed to the night beforehand. The mayor that you're looking for is a man by the name of Philid Brog. Philid Brog is a dwarf that happens to be the ipso facto mayor of this area. He's not actually the mayor. He doesn't technically have any power. It's just one of those people here appointed him to speak to the Burgermeister and any other peoples of official nature and the rest of Vizima. And I always want to say Vesemir and Vizima, and they kind of all just go along with it. And he's not technically anybody in a position that has actual authority.
But he is their democratically chosen representative, goddammit.
Oh, yep, exactly. So you guys go to speak with this man. Because of the fact that he is not an actual official, it's not like he has a building of his own or anything like that. You can literally just kind of find him in the streets. So as you're making your way about the streets, he'll literally be having a conversation with others.
All right, we'll politely wait for his conversation to finish, I imagine.
Sure. So it's one of those things where after 30 seconds or so of continuing the conversation he was having, he realizes that there are people clearly waiting to speak to him, and so kind of like does that, looks to you, looks back to the people, looks to you. You can clearly tell he's noticing you, and he's buttoning off his conversation, and then he'll turn to you and say, and who exactly is going with this? Bran and
All of us.
Yeah, I imagine we're all just gonna.
everybody's going.
Yeah.
Okay. Then Philid will actually know exactly who Luis is, and because obviously he has a friendly relationship with Luis, and he'll actually say to him, he'll come over. Luis, it's a pleasure, and he gives you like a very hard handshake.
Oof. Well, it's these guys you should be worried about.
Worried?
He knows what I mean.
Ah, I see you got a bit of that bog dust in your lungs again. Have you been eating the
It's
mushrooms?
syphilis, actually. Syphilis, yeah. I have syphilis.
No.
My character has syphilis now. Thanks, Daelric.
No. You're eating the bog mushrooms during sporing season.
Anyway, this is Bastion the Witcher.
He'll turn to
speak with
Sebastian. What is this in regards to, Witcher?
So we were informed that Thema has been having a bit of trouble with disappearances, specifically at night. We were interested in knowing if you had any more information on that, and the Burgermeister mentioned that you may be willing to hire us for this as well to deal with this.
Yes, well, this is... Unfortunately, people have gone missing. And it's believed we know exactly why people have gone missing. Of course, no matter what anybody says, they don't believe us. And so, they, the idea is that if you have a witcher, do the search, or somebody that has an experience in this field that isn't the ones that are accused, well, they would be able to see there's a reason why we're accusing them. We point fingers at those that are doing the wrongdoings, and everybody else just assumes it's racial tensions rather than facts.
All right, I think I have an idea where you're leading. Do you have any... Don't take this the wrong way, but do you have any evidence to back up those claims for our Master Witcher here to be able to pursue?
Not exactly anything that would be substantial enough to actually bring forward in a way that would benefit us any more than we already have. I think it would be smarter if you were to start this one from scratch. That way you don't get a swayed opinion. So you can see that we're telling the truth. But
do you have any information on where these disappearances typically happen in the area?
It's not a matter of typically, because it could be anywhere in old Vizima. I suppose if you were to choose a typical anything, it is taking place at nighttime, and it is taking place when others can't be seen. So perhaps
there any clues
an
left
alleyway,
behind?
or perhaps in the cellar of a tavern. What was the question?
Are there any clues left behind when people disappear?
Nothing that I could perceive. Be that I'm willing to share with you, because again, I need you to go into this with well, what I can do is this: I can show you where the last two have disappeared. Anything older than that, and the trail will be cold.
Perfect.
One more question.
Ah.
Do they exclusively, or have they exclusively taken human or non-humans, or have they taken humans with magical properties as well, such as sources?
We don't know of any sources that live here in this part of this town, but very few humans live in this part of this town, and it's only been at first non-humans. Later on, the humans started up, and that's when they started pointing fingers at us, saying it was our fault the humans went disappearing. Like that's our doing. I don't think it is. I think it's them covering their tracks. Figure they lose 2 or 3 of theirs, take out 30, 40 of ours.
And given that your intuition is right, potentially resolve the situation by getting rid of you all.
We'll see if dwarves ain't so easy to get rid of. We're a thorn in your side that doesn't go easy.
Well, listen, guys, this seems easy enough. Let's just set up some live bait.
Oh, Luis, you would make an excellent bit of bait. That's a real good
That's an
idea,
excellent
mate.
suggestion indeed. Let's save that until we've looked at the clues from the recent sites before those go cold. So that we may start to form our own conclusions on this event.
One more question, I think. How much is the pay?
Word that someone was going to be coming looking was already sent this way, and I was instructed that I'm going to have to be paying 1,000, and I'd be more than happy to do that. You come clean with that evidence of how they've been guilty.
No, I'm sorry, mate. We come forward with the truth. All right. If it turns out it's one of your people, then you pay us up the 1,000 gold.
Oh, I wasn't trying to be twisting words. I'm not a human. I was putting an assumption in with a deal struck. Yeah, you come forward with the information, and we'll take the information and give the gold.
Sounds good to
Sounds
me.
fair enough.
Well then, I think you and I have an understanding, he says specifically to the Witcher. What can I do for you next?
I suppose you should show us these recent spots.
Yeah, I suppose I shall. All right. Come with me this way. And he'll lead you over to where he was inside the like I said, the what's it called? The market before. He's actually going to lead you to like the side area of the market. It's not like it's a huge or robust market by any stretch of the imagination. This is, again, the non-human area. And the goods in this market, for the most part, are subpar. But there are some items that just happen to be like really good quality items because it's just like the non-humans are the ones that are doing the growth or whatever of them, and so they just happen to be able to get their hands on the highest quality of, say, a particular type of peach or whatever the case may be. So, anyways, you go to like the edge of the market and down an alleyway, and he only takes like 2 or 3 steps into the alleyway and just kind of points down the alley. This alley does happen to be a dead end. You know, it's old buildings kind of put up and broken down and put up again. Happens to make a dead end alley. And it says, right over here. It was a young lass came down this alleyway. And she was elven in heritage. Came down this way. Screams were heard. After the people saw her turn down here, she was gone shortly after.
The
Were
body
there
was gone entirely.
any witnesses that we would be able to talk to?
You can ask around. I don't have names for them.
Any blood? No one's done any cleanup? Question mark.
He just points down the alleyway for you to start doing your research.
Yep. And I'm gonna look and see if there's any blood.
Okay, well, you guys can make investigation checks as you walk in there and start trying to look around. Part of investigation, if you choose not to investigate, if you choose to instead do what's it called? You want to gather like information from other people's instead of doing the investigation with intelligence. You can actually roll me what's it called? Diplomacy checks to try to like coax information.
Diplomacy isn't a thing.
My apologies. Persuasion checks. I was confused too because of the other campaign. So persuasion checks to coax information out of them nicely, or intimidation checks to like force information out of them, and see what you can do.
Can Tal help Bastian?
For the investigative stuff, absolutely you can.
So I will provide help action.
I have really bad investigation. So
Well,
should I like roll? So what does that give me? Advantage or something?
yeah.
Okay.
I'm tempted to do intimidation actually.
Yeah, I mean, whatever
Yeah,
works.
Ren's real intimidating.
So
Fireball
You
in
say that, but
and then we can find out what he apparently is real intimidating. And
get them
what is-
crazy eyes, boy.
what is it you would like to do there, Messy?
I guess I'll just hang out, talk to people, but not really about the job, just because I'm bored.
Okay, so you're not trying to gather any information, just kind of like kicking it about with people that you already know.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So you have Bastion goes down the alleyway and starts looking about, and what Bastion happens to notice is that there is, in fact, like a little bit of blood that was spilt in a spot, literally one tiny little area where there's a little bit of blood that was spilt. You can see that there is scuff marks in the ground where her shoes clearly were like moved erratically and dragged for a bit over to like where a wall is, and then you can see that over by where the wall is, her feet like near the wall, completely lifted up off of the ground. So you imagine like, oh, okay, maybe she was hoisted up to one of the, atop of one of the buildings or something like that, because there was footmarks, all marks or whatever it is, completely stop. For you to continue your investigation, you'd have to actually go up onto the roof overhead and see what's up there. We can get to that in a second, Bran. You going around and just being an overall ass, trying to scare people into sharing information with you.
Well, we're in the non-human district, and I'm a human, so I'm gonna try to play into that, basically.
Do you use magic? Like,
No, I'm not going to be obvious about it, but I'm going to make it like, I'm looking into this as a human, and I might let people might let the Order of the Rose know that, people aren't being cooperative and stuff.
oh, you're doing full douche. Okay, that's pretty funny. Okay, so
I'm playing into the role here.
Of course. So you do actually get people to cooperate easily because of the fact that they are genuinely intimidated by the Order of the Rose and what it is they have or might have done or might do. So they do come forward, they do cooperate, telling you that they can confirm that she went in there. They can confirm that there was a loud, high-pitched shrill that came from that area. And when others came over to see her, they saw from the lip over the building, so kind of overlapping the information they found. When somebody went over there, they saw an armored figure like pulling her onto the lip itself. So they saw this like armored figure doing so, like pulling her onto the lip, and they could tell because like the way that the moonlight was kind of like reflecting off of the armor, that it was armor, and pulled her onto the lip, and then up there, the screaming almost immediately stopped. You know what I mean? And it kind of like people wanted to do something, but at that point in time, it was already too late, and they were afraid they might be next. And so they all kind of like scattered and went all their own directions. But also with your 25 Intimidate, I will tell you of a third location. So he was going to show you to a different one. They actually tell you of another location. They'd be like, it's almost like what had happened over and they mentioned another alleyway. The alleyway over in the old, where the alchemist used to be.
Alchemist, eh?
It was an alchemist that lived here long while ago, years back. He's long since gone. And it was an area near there, and a similar thing happened. Instead of a young girl, though, a boy. Dwarf, not out of his teens. Taken.
Oh, shit.
Right, well, I'd like for you to show me this alleyway, and also let me, or mark down for me where this alchemist used to live while we're at it.
They do exactly that.
Cool.
Okay. And do you guys, I imagine, go to the roof to continue your investigation?
Before we go up,
Sure.
just to ask a couple more probing questions.
Of course.
So you said that, so it looks as if the feet scuffled a lot at the initial point.
Mm-hmm.
Are we talking like back of the heels, as if someone was floored? Or are we talking like...
So with a 16, it's not like you get super crazy information. You can just clearly tell that the feet have been... It looked like she was being dragged, at least to one degree or another dragged. A bit of kicking happening as well. So it's not just like straight, if you're assuming back of the heels, just straight line drags, like completely unconscious. Not that. There's a bit of a fighting to it.
Okay.
But you can't get any more detail really beyond that with the total of a 16.
And there's no footprints from this other party?
Unfortunately, not.
the 16.
Yeah, not in this area. You do identify a couple of other footprints. Other people have come and kind of like investigated the area, but your 16 was well enough to see above how they've kind of gotten in the way of the investigation.
So I'm gonna start climbing.
Sure.
Yeah, let's go up then.
So you guys go climbing up there, trying to find out where it was that you had. My apologies. Start climbing up there, seeing what other information you can get to. So you go right over to the lip, and one of the first things you're going to look for, of course, is any form of blood that might be there as well. You can roll me another investigation check with advantage.
you want me to do it?
Either one of you.
What's your investigation?
+1.
Oh yeah, you do.
We'll mix and match. Hey, +1, baby.
That's funny. That's hilarious. So you did you roll natty 1 as well?
Yeah.
Oh, that worked in your favor, didn't it?
Yeah, I know.
Ooh.
That's nice. So you go up there and you start investigating, looking around. One of the first things you notice is there isn't any blood. There aren't any blood stains or anything like that. You do actually see markings of where clearly she was dragged over the wall, or a form or something was dragged over the wall. Going over there and looking at it, you actually look like it looks like it might be the way that there's like a slash into the side of the wall or whatever it is. It looks like it could be a blade mark. It looks like that could be a blade mark that was put into like the wall, like as if somebody had like hit a sword or a blade along the edge of the wall, because it looks rather fresh as they were pulling her up. But it's kind of hard to tell, or maybe because that was on the other side of the wall, on the inside of the wall's lip, you do see a couple more markings. Maybe it was where something was anchored, to hoist. But otherwise, it's kind of hard to tell where they are. Funny enough, though, while Tal is really trying to lean in and whatnot, and Bastion's nearby watching, Tal, maybe he isn't fully recovered from the night beforehand, or maybe he just genuinely slipped. But as he was leaning forward, trying to look at these markings, he actually overbalances himself and starts to fall forward off the actual lip of the building. I will allow either Dunce or Tal to make me a dexterity save.
Do I get to use my shield?
It's like cradle him in.
That's got a really good dexterity save. Yeah. Oh, or not.
Maybe.
Oh.
Well, you also got 2 more Witcher senses. So you have whatever you had prior to the session, which I think was 0, plus 8. So would you like to use a Witcher sense? Okay.
We were on 2. We are on 11 now.
You fall off of the building. Fortunately for you, this is old Vizima doesn't exactly have huge buildings. The fall is going to hurt a whopping 3d6.
We're in the non-human district. They're shorter. Some of them.
Wait, I was waiting for you to roll that, and I just remembered something. Did
Wait
you
for
just
me
remember?
to roll that.
Yeah, well, yeah. I was gonna have you roll your damage, but before you roll it, yeah.
Yeah.
So,
nice fumble, chat.
so 3d6.
Got him.
Well, roll 3d6 because you're what, level 5? If you roll a 16 or higher, you
I'm
can actually
level,
get
I'm level 6.
Damn it! That literally you're immune to 3d6. Okay. All right. Well, welp. That fumble did nothing, unfortunately. So you literally fall off, and it's one of those things where Bastion kind of reaches out, trying to grab you, and then all of a sudden he's oh shit, and looks off the edge, and he sees just the way that you had landed. You just happen to it's not like it's super crazy graceful. I mean, Tal's just not graceful. The way you had landed, it's like you had literally landed down below and kind of broke your fall with a bit of garbage in a crate that's down there, and kind of have your ass semi stuck into it. But you pull yourself up. It's nothing more than a couple of scrapes that you take, no actual damage.
It's quite a long way. I was checking.
Is there anything down
You fu-
there?
Well,
Just
I
some
mean-
dirty needles.
so after seeing what I've seen, that's clearly. At first, I thought maybe there's some form of vampire in play with the strength to lift someone up, because there was only a single drop of blood spilled. Changed my mind now. That was clearly a clubbing. That's why there's minimal blood. So clubbed to try and stop her from resisting, and then she was hoisted up using a grappling hook. Now that mark, though, you said a mark, like a blade was cut in.
It looks like it could have been a blade or something like that. It's definitely something sharp. It's hard to tell because unfortunately you're not an investigator. This isn't something that you're adept
Yeah.
at doing.
We got like the marks on the inside for the prongs of the grappling hook.
It looks like it's more than just 2 marks, though. So maybe the grappling hook danced around a bit.
Okay. Which would suggest that they did it there and then.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like the best pre-planned thing. And the screaming stopped. Oh, well, we don't know that exactly yet, but the screaming stopped as well when she got up there. So that blade mark could be indicative of the fact that she was put down, but there's no blood.
Okay.
That doesn't sound like a bloodsucker to me.
No, bloodsucker was something else. I'm not convinced they exist. They're all like, it's the bloodsuckers. They're like, yes, the bloodsuckers did it. No, it was a huge, horrible foglet. But the bloodsucker, nope.
Neil didn't play the first game, so he doesn't know what the bloodsuckers are.
They don't exist.
They do. Exist.
They're not real.
They also exist in the books.
They're a myth.
They'll
Yeah,
probably
yeah,
exist in the
well,
TV series too.
They look ugly. I'll tell you what. I've seen one in real life.
Yeah, what?
Hank?
So, you guys are, and of course you have seen them in real life, real life, like IRL real life.
Yeah, I know.
So,
I know what a leech is.
but like real.
Yeah, my ex-wife.
Oh, okay. Well, that was pretty
No,
funny.
it's careful. She watches your streams.
Oh shit.
In case you don't get the joke, Dunce is like 14, so he can legally marry because it's Florida, but
I thought he turned 15 the other day.
yeah.
Yeah, what the fuck, dude?
Oh,
He didn't
sorry.
even come to my birthday
He was-
party. It was at the roller rink.
Sorry.
He's really proud of that.
That's why I didn't go. I was at Dave and Buster's. Sorry.
So,
Way cooler
Um,
there.
there's your ex-wife right now. Come back to me. Wow.
Oh, she's not at my house.
The fuck, dude?
So
Again, really?
How'd you know my ex-wife was a furry?
Okay, moving on from that one. so you guys look about. You come to that conclusion, Neil, as you were just saying, and kind of look at everybody amasses. Rick, you can tell them what you had discovered.
All right, I'll come walking up and go. So, I've been talking to people. So they saw an armored figure.
Armored.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Apparently, she was dragged up there, and then the screaming stopped, and people were concerned that they would be next.
We found some marks that would suggest a grappling hook was used to get up there. I have to say I'm impressed that someone in armor. How did they know it was armor?
Because of the moonlight glistening off of it.
Like a big pizza
So-
pie.
I'm surprised that someone who was armored in clearly metallic armor, clearly enough to glint in the moonlight, was capable of dragging himself and this person up that entire wall.
Yeah. They also said it was similar to another location, one that we weren't aware of yet. So I've taken the liberty of taking directions over there so we can check that out at our leisure. And it's close to where an alchemist used to live, apparently, many years ago.
Well, that's cool. Probably entirely unrelated, though. I mean, come on, Bran. Years ago.
Yeah, but you never know. Might be something kicking around there.
Tal shouts up to Bastian. Bran found that someone used to live somewhere.
So at this point,
You said there's a bloodsucker down there. I'm on my way.
at this point,
Jumps down.
are you really gonna jump off the building?
Yeah, I'm jumping down, sword at the ready. I misheard him.
What's that? Who's that character? Just tuck the sword like down between your legs and do one of those shots. What video game was that?
I stabbed the
Link?
pile of garbage
Link.
that you landed in.
Super Smash Bros.
Yeah, Link in Smash
yeah.
Bros. That's exactly.
Wait,
what it
is Tal
Good
still
call,
stuck in
good
the
call.
garbage?
No, he's
No, he's
he
out.
Oh,
he's
I
got a
stabbed
big
the
booty, but he
garbage
wiggled it
was
out.
in.
Yeah.
that's a shame.
All right, so at this point, Lo will come walking up with like 3 people, and he'll be like, See, I told you, he's a Witcher. He's here. There's Witchers here. Look, Bastion, can you come talk to my friends?
Where's the bloodsucker? Yes. Put my sword away.
Just wanted to get in some fangirls. I brought all
Yeah.
girls, by the way.
Nice. I sneak a high.
Of course, by girls, what he means is that there are a bunch of like little children, like brownies age,
No.
and they're like, "Hi, oh, it's so nice to see you, Luis," and they're just kind of like playing tag, and and we're trying to get him to play.
I'll play tag.
Bastion,
Breaks her
we have
shoulder.
more important things to do.
Okay. Sorry.
So, Lo, find anything out from that?
Yeah, I learned that Jack's chicken coop's doing really well this year.
You've not done this before, have you?
Done what?
This. Investigated a murder scene?
No.
I've not done it that much either. The trick is, imagine if you wanted to kill someone and get away with it, how would you do it? You know?
Quickly.
Right?
Privately.
Mm-hmm.
With a good arrow, maybe.
Okay, so quickly and privately. So he's done it in an alley, so that's private enough.
Yeah.
And quickly, we suspect he's used a grappling rope to get out. Now the trick is, though, where do you think he'll go from the rooftop? Bearing in mind he's got to take a body with him.
And he's walking around in armor.
I will say, no one here has a grappling hook and armor, so he's not from around here.
Well, no one here wears a grappling hook and armor outside, but they may well keep it, in their murder chest, in their little hole.
I don't know if very many people here have a murder chest.
I think you'd be surprised.
But if they lived here, that wouldn't be a bad place to store a body.
Or bodies.
That's true. So I think the best thing for you to do now, Lo, is
Sniff
climb
around.
climb up that building, yeah, and have a good sniff. See whether you can find out where this person might have gone. You're local, you know the lay of the land. Which route would someone take if they wanted to avoid being seen?
From the rooftop.
We're presuming we have no
While
choice.
wearing armor.
While wearing armor, we're presuming that he's forced to traverse via the rooftops at this point. He's not
Yeah.
straight down.
With big armor, you're gonna make too much noise jumping around.
I will have to say that your theory is not completely thought through. There's one other place I was going to show you, and it's actually in the basement of a cellar.
So private. And
Excuse
Alright,
me.
I just
Excuse
said,
me, sir.
Yeah.
We were having a discussion. Jeez.
he looks at Luis like flat. He's like, it was a tavern, wine cellar. Got the barkeep.
Do you mind?
I
That would
propose we go to the tavern.
Marvelous. See? He has done it before. Right, let's go.
we'll make a good lad out of you yet. And he ruffles his hair.
You guys heading to the tavern first? Or you're heading to the one that Rick had.
Tavern.
Okay, cool. So you guys follow him. He leads you into the tavern, where he kind of goes over, walks up to the barkeep, and kind of like informs him of what's going on. Like, yeah, they're doing the investigation, and yeah, I'll take one of those. And oh yeah, and then it talks like, and then it happens to slide into a bar stool, and then all of a sudden he's drinking. Well, you guys are being led out back and down the stairs into where the wine cellar would be. So when you guys get led down there, the barkeep himself is like, "Oh, it's down there, friends. It's right down there, and turn right round the bend over that way, and I'm sure you can't miss it."
I'm gonna need a sample of your Temerian rye, just to be sure that there's no foul play involved.
Roll me a persuasion check.
Hey, listen, man, just
He goes,
Give him some alcohol, man.
well, are you trying to add the persuasion on there?
Just give him some alcohol, man.
You can roll me
Hey,
a persuasion
come
with,
on, man.
with disadvantage, I was
Some
going to say.
alcohol, man. Oh,
What's
with
that?
disadvantage?
Oh, Jesus.
I
Yeah,
can
with
do
dis.
disadvantage.
Yeah, with dis.
Just give him some alcohol, man.
He's like, he turns to you and he's like, foul play. You think they might poison it?
It's possible. It's also what was his name? Philip? I don't know.
Yeah.
Philip said that the previous
With a D,
barkeep,
Philid.
said that the previous barkeep was off down there, and I know a certain someone who stands to benefit. Might be useful to have the investigators be on good terms.
Yeah, why don't you not the Tamarian, the good stuff, but you can get a little bit of that grog down there. I changed my voice partway through that.
That'll
can
do.
get- And he's
Goes
like
off.
he's like, it's the oak one, the one that smells a lot like oak.
Great. Thanks. He'll take a mug.
And you go downstairs, and the first thing you do is head over to the oak barrel and
No, he goes against the Temerian, right?
Oh, he does it? Oh, good. So you go to because the thing has like the screw and cork, you know what I mean? So you go to like try to open the thing to get the Tamarian rye. Unfortunately, you accidentally break the valve.
You probably
Because-
fell with the idiot.
Because somebody specifically said, do we want to save it to get him for his hubris later? That's exactly how they said it about 10 minutes ago. So Tamarian, the nozzle of the Tamarian rye broke open. So you're like filling up your cup, like you snap. You're holding
fuck.
the handle, and it's still pouring. Except
Tal
your
can't
mug's
let it go
full.
to waste.
I cast mending on it.
You're like Tal's like about to get down there, and then it like fixes. He's like,
He's one of those climbs down. He's like, and like it stops at like
Gets
one
a
drop. How disappointed is he?
I mean, he's like, huh? Why would you do that?
Because you were gonna get into a lot of trouble. And we'd like to be on good terms, wouldn't we?
Weren't you threatening people earlier? Like not too long ago?
What was he
You
doing?
don't know that.
Yeah, Lewis, he was around.
Word gets around, you know. I was talking to some people.
He heard you from like right next to you. I'll fucking throttle you, I will. And he's like, buddy, I'm like right here. Why are you
I'm gonna
saying
send the
that?
boys, the squad.
Don't make me
We
get
blew up at
donkey.
midnight.
Don't make me get donkey.
Threatening them with basically the equivalent of the SS from World War II. You can't do that.
Well,
Anyway.
in that case, you are equally guilty, Bran. Cheers.
So you guys go start searching around down there as you are drinking your Tamarian wine, and roll me investigation checks to see what you can discover.
Everyone
Can
normal?
I just threaten people again?
Everyone normal unless there's a different check that you can argue using.
Can I just give Tal advantage?
Everyone normal unless there's a different check that you can argue using. And please feel free to get creative.
I would like to use survival
Sure.
because I'm specifically looking for footsteps at this point.
Okay, you're welcome to do that. Anybody
Because
else?
the person didn't
I-
do it before.
Can I
Had the time of my life.
could I, based on what Tao was saying earlier, where he was like, if you were a murderer, what would you do? Can I use a stealth check to see if there's places I would hide and if there's anything in them?
You mean like more or less a note of expertise as opposed to just a flat
Yeah.
out searching? Okay.
Right.
I will allow that, but I'm gonna be mean and make you do it with disadvantage because it's kind of a far-fetched one, but it's a
That's
huge
more than
jump for you, I
fair.
think. Yeah.
Because that check is really high for me.
Yeah.
I was just trying to think of a way to. Yeah.
Right,
I'm gonna be boring. I'm just gonna roll investigation because I have a +3 in it.
Roll performance and do a small jig.
All right.
Oh, you clicked the wrong one, Bastion.
He's also drinking the Temerian wine. He's like, do a little dance, make a little love. Sorry. So your survival check. Unfortunately, Tal, it's not that the tracks can't be found. It's that the Temerian wine is actually at its peak right now. Sorry, my apologies. Temerian rye is at its peak right now. We're talking like the blend of peatiness and smokiness. I forgot it was whiskey and not wine. It's a blend of peatiness and smokiness. This is absolutely perfect. And you honestly, your first taste, you weren't sure, but by your second taste, you realized this is a single malt. This is a single malt. Like, they did this proper. You know what I mean? Like, this ain't no blended garbage here. And so you're just so, in your mug of rye that you're not really paying attention. Luis, so you actually do think of several areas where you think that somebody might be able to hide. And you go and check out every single solitary one of them, knocking on barrels, and finding the empty ones, going and kind of like looking inside, around behind areas, anywhere where you think somebody might be able to hide down in here. You can't find any like, you can find several spots, but you don't find any signs of anybody actually hiding in those spots. No footprints, no disturbance of dust or cobwebs, nothing like that whatsoever, which, a little peculiar, but nothing crazy. The other two, they definitely find exactly where it was that this person had disappeared. Once again, you find just a couple of drops of blood on the ground, and you can actually see after the couple of drops of blood on the ground, you can see where they struggled. You can see actually where the guy's like back and ass were, because the whole area is just kind of like messed up, where they clearly struggled and rolled around a bit on the ground, whatever it was, and is gone. Now, that's what Brand was able to discover with his investigation check. Bastion, you actually take that one step further. You actually see that once again there are almost like sword marks in the ground around the area as well, like tip of the sword had stabbed into the ground a bit, because this isn't like a cement ground or a cobblestone ground. This is dirt down here, right? And so you can see where like there are bits of like almost like sword marks or pike marks may have been stabbed into the grounds.
Pike.
It's probably more accurately like a pike or a spear than it is like a sword, stabbed into the ground around. And not like one or two, but like, 14 or 15.
Oh. Yeah, I definitely point those out to Bran when I notice them.
Well, that must have been one hell of a struggle.
Well, I can tell you what, whatever happened here, this wasn't an ambush. No spots that I would hide in are disturbed at all.
So, as with the previous scene, we can say that this didn't appear to be particularly well planned. It's
No.
more of
Random
Spur of the
killing.
moment.
opportunistic killing.
It still could have been at least somewhat of an ambush if someone got into the back and just waited for him to go down. Are there any hiding spots upstairs that we could check?
I could probably find some.
Would you mind doing that?
Sure.
Not a lot of people have access to this cellar, right?
The barkeep is at the top of the stairs, and so he's like, he didn't come down with you guys. He's like, no.
Hmm.
Do you ever let anyone down here?
Well, yeah, I just let you lot.
Well, yeah. Think other than us.
Well, I've only been on the job for about 4 days. So there's you lot. There's those that investigated before you lot. There's like 8 of them. And then he, gestures to the, like, behind him. He's like, and him. So I guess in 4 days, it's quite a bit. How much does that equal? 22?
What other investigators?
And you can actually hear holler from like muffled, like, oh, it's the guys that come check things out before. They just want to make sure that things are on the up and up. And they can clearly see the markings of the Order of the Rose out there.
Clearly
yes.
the markings of the Order of the Rose. Nice.
Do they come in with spears?
Barkeep shrugs.
Probably
Gotta
not
keep to
then.
myself.
Okay.
Considering his predecessor was murdered horribly down in his own wine cellar, he doesn't seem to pay attention to what people are bringing into his shop in terms of weapons.
I mean, I guess lightning doesn't strike in the same place twice.
When he hears you say that, because again he said this up the stairs, he's like, "Oh, you mean now? Like if they were to walk in today? They haven't walked in this bar ever that I know of. I mean, I just live about town, so I don't know the bar super well, but."
My understanding is that the Order of the Rose seems to steer clear of this district unless they absolutely require something here. Would that be correct?
Yeah. Either to start trouble or otherwise, yeah.
Good to know.
So like the back area before we went into the cellar, is it like an indoor area or is it just like a backyard with a cellar that goes down?
This actually has interior access to the cellar. Yep, it's
Okay.
not exterior. It's actually interior access to the cellar. Not so unusual for a tavern, because
Yeah, I kind of imagined that to be the case.
Yeah,
I figured as much. I just wanted to make sure that there wasn't like they could just hop a fence and get over there.
no.
I guess I'll check that out then. The area around the cellar entrance to see if there's any
Sure.
ambush spots there. Someone could have followed him in or whatever.
You do go up there and do that investigation as well. You can do same thing, stealth the same way, or regular investigate. Actually, you can have one of the boyos come up and help you and give yourself normal on the stealth check.
Oh, that'd be great. One of you boys want to help?
I got you.
Okay.
I love that chat is saying it's
Oh,
Oh, well then. You actually, it's funny that I'm allowing you to do this. You actually do find a really good hiding spot that someone would be able to use up in this area back here. It's actually a spot that one would be able to easily use to hide from view from pretty much anybody else inside the bar itself, anybody else from the kitchen crew in the back where they're cooking, and they actually have a spot where they can literally see through like almost like, you know how old walls, if you've ever been to like those old houses where the planks of wood just don't fully sit flush against one another, where you can easily see from that area, you can scan the entire bar if you wanted to and look for somebody inside of it without any hindrance other than maybe if the bartender was in your way. So like we're immediately behind the bar. And even in that spot right there, there's actually literally a comfortable seat that's inside of it too, where you can legit like, oh man, let me
Someone
sit
put a
down
seat
for a
there?
minute. Yeah, like there's like a stool, but like the stool was like carved well enough that it's got a decent ass groove to it, and you actually could sit there comfortably, not see as well if you were sitting, but you can sit there comfortably for a long period of time, looking throughout the rest of the bar. So it's something you happen to notice there. That's kind of like looking around the entire barish area. So this clearly comes to your attention, and who came to help you?
Bastion.
Bastion. So you pointed out to Bastion, and Bastion kind of like puts his head and like looks around and I can see everything.
That looks comfortable.
Someone's been here for a long time.
Does it look like it was recently put there, the stool?
Honestly, the whole thing seems like it's been there for, as you just said, a long time.
I guess has the dust been kind of moved? Like, does it look like anybody's moved around, like sat there, anything like that?
So it definitely is no dust there. Like it's been used recently.
Do you use this stool, often?
You say that to who? The bartender?
The bartender. Are you okay?
It's literally his response.
Does he go hot in the face?
Yes.
You dirty man.
I'm gonna take a second look through, just like, what could he possibly?
So again, it just allows you to see through the whole bar area, not like a latrine or anything like that.
Yeah, I'm like, what? I don't get it.
But the whole bar area allows you to see through the whole thing. He doesn't say anything. Seems pretty pursed.
I walk up and I ask the bartender, "Can I look at what would the books be that the owner of the establishment, as in you, would be keeping their papers and whatnot? I would like to have a look, see if there's anything the other bartender might have, the barkeep might have left behind."
Oh, I'm not the owner. His wife took the place when he died, so I'm just hired here. But I'll show you. And he says it like walks to the back area, and he grabs a book, and he like picks it up, and he like holds it, and he like dusts it off a little bit, and he's like, "Yep, it's a good read." He's holding the thing upside down, and he hands it to you.
I'll take it and I'll start like trifling through it, trying to see if there's any notes or any like loose papers in there.
So loose papers and notes. This is gonna take another investigation check.
That's fine.
So you spend some time searching through there, and you find that this is literally like a ledger of like how many kegs or barrels, I should say, purchased, how many barrels sold, like pints, so on and so forth. The flow of cash in and out, and da 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 da. They actually like do these kind of measurements, and how the end of a month it always seems like they don't quite hit the profits that they expect, not due to spoil, but due to probably stuff given away, worry about rats eating. Of cheese, things like that. All these things are concerns, but nothing about.
There's nothing like out of the ordinary or like any suspicious people or any suspicious dealings. Okay.
No. Looking through this, you find what you would expect, and actually, it's one of those. It's kept better than maybe you would. No, your character's not very educated in this kind of stuff. It's kept better than maybe I suppose none of you would really know what's good and what's not. So Leonard would expect. Oh, so
Oops. He's dead to us.
Okay. Well, I'll just look through it for a while and then hand it back to him. Like, well, nothing in there that might have been a clue. Sadly. All right.
You mentioned one other place.
Yep. I think it's time we start looking at that one up and down. I think this might have been more of an opportunistic ambush more than anything else. Deliberate, but...
That's the... Well, with the other one, I believe that was more of that sort as well. It wasn't particularly well pre-planned. He clearly carried a grappling hook, but that could just be something that this person carries on them.
It could be. It does lead to wonder, though. It feels like they're either randomly picking people or very deliberately, and it's hard to tell which at this point.
I suspect it's random, and I feel like there may be more than one person.
But if it's random, then why stake out for potentially hours outside a bar for the barkeep to go down into the cellar to grab him, when he could just go after one of the drunk people just as easily?
When you don't want to be seen?
Didn't seem to stop him the first time.
Might have been personal.
I'm unconvinced.
I'm thinking the barkeep might have seen or heard something. Well, that's why he had to go. But we'll find out, hopefully, as we go along.
Honestly, at this point, I would be more likely to blame it on the Order of the Flaming Rose, he says quietly.
I actually have an idea. Not before we investigate, but I'll share this idea anyway. If we could have Louise potentially antagonize the Order of the Rose in some way, have him go to an alleyway, we will be setting our ambush around that alleyway, on the rooftops, surrounding.
You said it yourself, Louise. You would use bait.
I would.
Not for the Eternal Flame.
I would. My current feeling is not that this is like a killing that's motivated by any specific negative feelings, but simply Who gains to benefit most when the non-human population rises up in rebellion and then have to be put down?
That's my feeling as well currently.
Mm.
Anyway, that's just a feeling, and we shouldn't put too much stock in it until we've investigated more.
Daelric, what time of
Yes.
day is it?
Because you guys have been investigating for several hours, it's actually getting into the evening. So, because of the time of year, it's not dark yet, but the sun's starting to fall.
Another idea. If we do think that there are different parties involved, one of you antagonize the Eternal Flame, the other antagonize the non-humans of the area. Me and Tao will split up and watch you individually, but
That's
we'll keep it near enough that the ambush would be able to shift.
I don't know if antagonizing is necessary. I think if we just do
It would help to draw them out, make you a target.
put a lot of eyes on us, maybe that's not what he wants.
And then the eyes will shift to them when they are caught out by us.
I think it's better we look over this third location before we start antagonizing any of the major groups here.
Oh, a lot of daylight left, so we better make it quick.
For sure.
And so you guys finish up with your second location and go into the third one that you wouldn't have found before. You make your way there to start investigating it. Before I describe what this location is like, why don't we take a break? And we'll be back in just a few minutes. So go do what you gotta do, and we'll see everybody shortly, okay?
Break!
Bye-bye. Error.
All those chicken noises, right?
I don't know.